Yo, what up, Raider Nation? Welcome back to the Raider D podcast, live stream edition. I know I haven't been on live for a bit, man. Drop your comments down below. Let's go. I want to hear those Raiders getting prepped and ready as we are getting ready for tomorrow's game. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've got the starting lineup that we're going to be talking about today. Let me adjust this here for you just a little bit. Make my pretty face a little bit better, man. But yeah, this is an open mic night, man. Just come on, hit me up with the comments. Let's go. Let's get it going. Let's hang out, chop it up, talk some Raiders, man. Because I don't know about you, but I am 1,000% fired up for tomorrow's game. As we start getting going here, we'll get more people in here. We'll start getting the comments going, and we'll start talking about it. But I mean, for me, man, honestly, I think the Raiders are going to be a whole different team. I know we say that every single year, but listen, I mean, there's just so much that is in the positive for the Raiders this year that we haven't had in years in the past, which leads me to believe that the Raiders are going to be a much better team this year. So let's talk a little bit about the starting lineup. As a matter of fact, let me get over to Raiders.com and I can show you what I'm talking about here. Let me pull this up here real quick. By the way, the Patriots cornerback Gonzalez is out for this game. That is huge news for the Raiders because they don't have a corner. Like, he was the only corner that could probably hang with any of our receivers. They don't have a cornerback. So I think this is going to be a big scoring game for the Raiders. Let me pull this up. Let's go to, we want the, all right, let me pull this over here for you. Let me go to, where y'all at in the comments, man? Drop the comments. Where y'all checking in from? Where's the Raiders at? Where's my Raider Nation at? Let's get the comments going. We got 8 people in the house right now. 13 people in the house. Drop a comment where you checking in from. And I want to see some Raiders. Let's go. Eric, yeah, absolutely. Raiders. Let's do it, baby. UK Raider in the house. Matthew, what's going on, my man? Good to see you, bro. What time is it over there? It's got to be late, man. Mark checking in from Fresno, California, home of the Bulldogs. Steubenville, Ohio. Did I say that right? Or no, is that, I don't know how to pronounce that city. Steubenville? I'm not sure. Matthew says it's 19:30 p.m. What is 19? Is that military time? So that would be 7:30 p.m. Ronald checking in. What's going on, man? So listen, let me add this to the screen here. We're going to look at some of this stuff here with the Raiders as we get started today. So right now, the big news obviously is that the star corner for the Patriots, a guy named Gonzalez, is not going to be playing tomorrow. He has a hamstring issue. Big day for obviously Brock Bowers, Thornton, Tucker, the whole cast, Jacoby. They gonna light it up, man. Let's go to the press release. Justin Shorter was elevated. Again, another big wide receiver after Amari Cooper was retired. Raiders claim safety Tristan McCollum Raiders claim linebacker Brennan Jackson. Raiders announced the 2025 practice squad. So these are all some of the stories over there. What do you guys think about Justin Shorter? He's kind of been bouncing around on this team, kind of like, is he there? Is he not there? They tried playing him at tight end. Now they're going to list him at wide receiver. I think he's a better wide receiver than a tight end, and we don't need another tight end. Like, there's absolutely no point for us to have another tight end at this point. Let's pull this up. Raymond says, honestly, I wouldn't care if he was playing or not. I believe he would run them ragged. I support this team always. Supporter since 1960. Here from Las Vegas. Go Raiders. Wow, I was just down in Vegas, too. We should have hooked up. I was just down there last week. Raider Nation Blitz says the first step is a winning season. Well, the first step is winning game one, actually, right? Let's take it 1 week at a time, win one game at a time. What we've seen from the Chiefs is they've lost their last 2 games. They lost the Super Bowl, and then they just lost to Justin Herbert in the Chargers. So, let me see. So here's the depth chart. This is what I wanted to go over. So this is very interesting. We've probably heard about this already, but Dante Thornton Jr. here is listed as first team wide receiver. Now we know that coach said that he had won that spot, and he did. I mean, if you look at what Coach Kelly said, this dude has earned it. He's come to play every day, and that they're expecting big things from him. A 4th round draft pick out of Tennessee, rookie, starting lineup as a wide receiver in the NFL. Imagine that scenario. I mean, this kid's got to be out of his mind right now. Obviously, we got Colton Miller. Charles Grant will be backing him up. Dylan Parham at left guard. Caleb Rogers will be backing him up. Let's hope Dylan Parham doesn't go down, because I don't think Caleb Rogers is that good. Jordan Meredith has been doing really good all offseason at center, which is why he is now the starting center instead of Jackson Powers Johnson. Will Putnam will back him up. Jackson Powers Johnson has moved over to right guard. Alex Kappa will be backing him up. DJ Glaze at right tackle, and Stone Forsyth, who I absolutely know nothing about, will be backing him up at right tackle. And then obviously you got Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker, Geno Smith, and Ashton Genty, with Zamir White and Raheem Mostert backing him up. And all else fails, Dylan Laube. So that's on the offense. I think this is a great offensive lineup, because first and foremost, if we look at Dante Thornton Jr. and you look at Trey Tucker, you have 2 4.340 wide receivers on this team. One of them, he's a squirrely little dude, and the other one is a Randy Moss body type. It's going to be very difficult for the Patriots to try and handle that much speed on opposite sides of the field. And then Brock Bowers, obviously a tight end with Michael Mayer, opens up a ton of formations for Chip Kelly to be able to play with. I think the Raiders come out just banging, and we put up at least, in my opinion, in this game, the Raiders should put up at least 28 points. Bare minimum. They should put up 28 points against the suspect defense of the Patriots. Now, they're a suspect because of last year. They may not be this year. We don't know. We don't know what they're going to be this year. But they're still suspect until they prove otherwise. Obviously, the Raiders are suspect until proven otherwise as well. Right? So, Bama says all that should open up the running game. Agreed. When you have guys flying down the field and then you have a superstar like Brock Bowers in the middle of the field, your safeties have to sit deep, and they're going to have to split. Like, which one are they going to try and cover? Are they going to try and double up on Thornton? Or are they going to come down and help on Brock Bowers? Or are they going to go ahead and leave Trey Tucker wide open? Because Trey Tucker, many times he had a not a great statistical year last year, but if you go back and watch all the game tape, there are several plays where he's wide open for big gains and the ball just never comes his way. Or if it does, it gets overthrown or underthrown. Raider Ryan, my man. What's up, brother? 31-21 Raiders. Okay, I can respect that. I think that the Patriots will be able to score on our defense. I don't think our defense it hasn't been battle tested yet. I think obviously Max Crosby is going to be Max Crosby. He's going to do his thing like he always does. It just is what it is. But will Malcolm Koonce be the Malcolm Koonce from a year and a half ago? Because if Malcolm Koonce is the Malcolm Koonce of a year and a half ago, watch out. Drake May is going to be running for his life. And don't forget, I mean, our defensive tackles, they're pretty good. Adams is pretty good. And then if Tyree Wilson really has matured into that defensive tackle hybrid slot, and he can actually just handle business with it, I think Drake May is going to be in some trouble. Eric says 24-17. Hope that's for the Raiders. Matthew, I really hope they put McNuggets in his place. I would love that so much. Again, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because he's saying this is a revenge game against the Raiders. No, this is a revenge game of the Raiders against him. El Cesaro, always so positive. If the Raiders win, come on, man. Put that positive energy out there. When the Raiders win, 16-13, I think the New England blitz scheme is going to expose the offensive line. It could, but here's the thing. Geno Smith is really good against blitzing teams. Because he's really good at reading it. And he'll dump the ball off super fast. I think you're going to see a big difference between Aiden O'Connell's play and obviously Gardner Minshew and Geno Smith. There's one thing about Geno Smith. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL by any means. But he is an efficient game manager. Because he's so smart and he understands, he's been around the league for a long time. He understands defenses. He knows when they're trying to blitz him. And so he gets out. He first of all, he'll adjust the line to it, and then he'll change the play to address it. And here's the deal. With defenses who live by the blitz, they also die by the blitz. If you have a quarterback who knows how to defeat a blitz, which is really easy, slot routes destroy blitzes. Quick out routes, your running back getting out in the flat, those all destroy blitzes. And so if you just blitz, and you have a smart quarterback who can quickly get rid of the ball to the right person, you'll destroy a blitz. So this is one thing that Tom Brady was really good at in his heyday. He was so hard to blitz against because if you do an all-out blitz on Tom Brady, he'll dump the ball off over the line and pick up 10, 15 yards. He's not going to panic and stuff like that. And you've got that in a Geno Smith. Rare Raider, RVIDXR, 30-10. I would love that. You know what I would love even more? 30-0. Just a complete shutout. But here's the biggest question. How many yards does Ashton Jeanty get in his game one? And how many touchdowns? Let's do a survey right now. Drop your comments down below. Plus or minus 100 yards rushing for Ashton Jeanty. L says, Gino will have to be a manager and put the ball in Ashton's hands. I think that's going to be a big part of the game plan. Obviously, you draft him at number 6 for a reason, right? Matthew says, I'm hoping to see Thornton Jr. flash up. Oh, for sure. I can guarantee you right now that they already have set plays where you're going to split the safeties. You're going to make them choose. You're going to have Trey Tucker and Thornton run a deep route, a deep vertical. And you've got Brock Bowers underneath. What do the safeties do? They have to make a decision. They're either gonna go and follow Thornton, who's the bigger threat because of his size and speed, or they're gonna go to a now somewhat of a veteran in Trey Tucker, or they're gonna come down on Brock Bowers. And it's Gino takes 3-4 steps back and he looks at where is that safety at? Is he going over to Thornton? If he's not, he's throwing it to Thornton. Bama says under 100 for Ashton Jeanty, but not by much. 2 TDs. I think it all depends because here's the thing with Ashton Jeanty. I don't think that they're going to want to run him into the ground. We have Zamir White, we have Mostert, we have Laube, and Coach has already said it's going to be a running back by committee. But here's the thing with an Ashton Jeanty. He has big playability. If he gets off of 1 or 2 tackles, he has top end speed that people don't talk about. And they don't talk about it because he didn't run the 40 in the combine and he didn't run it in the pro day. He doesn't want people knowing how fast he is. It's like his secret weapon. But if you watch him in college, he's outrunning DBs. He's got to be close to a 4.3. If he's not, I mean, he might even be like a high 4.3, but still, he's outrunning DBs in college, left, right, and center. So he has that big play. Remember Darren McFadden? Darren McFadden was that guy, right? If he got through the line, boom, he's gone. Because he's got that top end speed, it just makes it so hard. And a difference between him and McFadden is Ashton Jeanty is just so dang hard to bring down. Straight up. He is just ridiculously difficult to get him to the ground. So I think it depends. If he gets a couple of big gains, a couple of 20, 30, 40-yard gains, he's going to have over 100 yards. Because I guarantee you they're going to hand him the ball at least 17 to 20 times in this game. I don't think they're going to run him into the ground and try and have him carry the ball 25 to 30. But I think the game plan is going to be with him somewhere between, maybe I'll be conservative, 15 to 20 touches, especially if it's late in the game. Yeah, and then you got Jacoby Myers too, right? And this isn't to put him out. Jacoby is your hands dude, right? He is that guy who's just going to catch everything you throw at him. And he's got a lot of chemistry with Geno Smith already. So that's why I said, like, the Raiders talent-wise is phenomenal. And listen, I want to give a shout out to my boy Protect the Shield podcast. He did a fantastic interview with Jason Campbell, former quarterback for the Raiders back in 2010, 2011. You guys got to go and check him out if you haven't seen that interview with Jason Campbell. Jason Campbell, in that interview, he said the reason why he chose to go to Oakland, right, is because of the young talent that they had there. And the Raiders were trying to get away from, like, they'd gotten into that mold of just bringing in a whole bunch of old players, and it was considered a money grab. Oakland was a money grab for old, washed up NFL players. They can go get another big check because they got the big name, right? And so they were getting out of that mold. They brought in Hugh Jackson, and the Raiders went from being the worst offense in the league in 2009 to number 6th overall in the league. Now, they still missed the playoffs, even though they swept the division. They still missed the playoffs because they went 8-8. And there was some stuff that had happened. But in year 2, Jason Campbell was on a roll, and he breaks his collarbone. And that pretty much ended it for the Raiders. They ended up 8-8 again, and we know Hugh Jackson got fired. So what the point is, I think that with this administration now, with John Spytek, he has a motto of building for the future and not giving huge checks to a bunch of old washed up players. Instead, he's looking at more of these young guys. And I think Coach Pete Carroll has a very similar philosophy of, let's coach up the young guys and get them to play hard, right? And so far, I think it's working. Obviously, we didn't have a single victory in the preseason, but who cares? I mean, at the end of the game, our first team looked really good. Second team, not so good. Third team, not good at all. So there's a lot of growth that needs to happen there. But I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen. Now I want to get into, let's go to the defense here. Obviously, you got Max Crosby, beast mode. Tyree Wilson backing him up. So Tyree is not listed as a starter. Instead, you've got Thomas Booker at defensive tackle, and you have Adam Butler, and then you have Malcolm Kuntz. So Tyree's the odd man out, even though he's shown a lot of progress so far. He's the odd man out, but odd man out, he's still going to be a rotational guy. Just like Jonah's going to be rotational, Lecky's going to be rotational, because Adam Butler does not play like Max Crosby 98% of the snaps. Adam Butler's a big boy. He puts out a lot of energy. He needs to go get some Gatorade every once in a while. Thomas Booker is going to be the same way. So I think you're going to see Jonah, Lecky come in. I think whenever Malcolm comes out and Max comes out, you're going to see Tyree go out. One of the good things about Tyree Wilson, he has not been what we had hoped for at a number 7 overall pick, but he has kind of progressed into a versatile player where he can play defensive tackle or defensive end, especially on rundown situations, right? Because he's really good at defending the run, especially with those like huge arms that he has. Like, what's that? What is that? Fantastic Four, the one character, his arms like stretch out. That's what it reminds me of with Tyree Wilson when he sticks his arm out there to grab a running back. It's just like his arm just keeps going. It's crazy. Outside linebacker, you have Jermaine Pratt. Middle linebacker, Elandon Roberts. Surprisingly, you have Jamal Adams not starting. I thought, as good as Jamal Adams played in the preseason, that he would have won the starting job. But it looks like Pratt has won that job, and Jamal will be rotational. And then obviously Devin White, who will be backed up by Brennan Jackson. Corners is going to be Darnay Holmes, Kai Blue Kelly, who really came out of nowhere. And I'm really excited to see what this kid can do in the regular season. And then you have Eric Stokes. Eric Stokes, I think, is going to be really good for the Raiders. DCAM, still has a lot of progress that he needs to make to get on that field as a starter. He's just still not ready. He gets out of position way too often. He's got the athleticism to compete with any elite defensive corner, but he gets out of position too much and he gets beat. Free safety, obviously, Palomao, who has just really come on, and then Jeremy Chin as safety. I'm really excited about Jeremy Chin. I want to see what this guy can bring to the Raiders because we've seen glimpses of it in the preseason. Special teams, obviously, AJ Cole, Daniel Carlson, Bobenmeyer is the long snapper. Trey Tucker is going to be the kick returner and the punt returner, with Ashton Genty and Dylan Laube as backups to Trey Tucker. Interesting that they have Trey Tucker doing that because he's a starting wide receiver. They must have a lot of faith that he's not going to end up getting hurt. But we'll see. I mean, that is kind of why they changed the kickoff, but punt returns is still dangerous. Matthew, thanks for the like, brother. Guys, get the likes up. Hit that like button. Hit the share button as well. Copy that link. It helps with the algorithm to get the live stream out to more people. El Cicero says, blew out the Donkeys and scored 59 points with JC. Should have kept him. I agree. I mean, yes, he was inconsistent as a quarterback. He would have games where he was like a genius, and then he would have some inconsistency. In 2010, he even got benched for a little while, ended up getting his spot back. But then when he broke his collarbone, they went out and got Carson Palmer. I think it was Carson Palmer, right? And that kind of that was the death knell. I mean, he had the broken collarbone, so he was going to miss the rest of the season. And they moved on from him after that. You know, again, more coaching changes, the whole, just that whole era for 20 years where the Raiders just could not figure it out. Really, after Al Davis died, Mark Davis could not figure out how to run this team. He was like, I want to win now, and I'm going to chase the next bling bling thing that comes along, and I'm going to do whatever, and I'm going to fire this coach and hire this coach, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. He really couldn't figure it out. What he needed was stability. And I think that, as much as us Raiders fans abhor the idea of Tom Brady becoming an owner in the Raiders organization, I think it was a real blessing in disguise, because what he's brought to this organization is a ton of stability. And I don't think that we're going to see Pete Carroll being fired at the end of the year if we don't win a Super Bowl. I don't think you're going to see a lot of the crazy moves that Mark Davis made in his tenure as the, full-time owner of the team after his pops died. I just don't see it. Tom Brady is too invested. He's put too much money, too much time, and he's bought in. He's 100% bought in. I mean, he's converting Patriots fans to Raiders fans now. Oh, what is that? Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg is from Boston. This dude's a huge Patriots fan. You've seen him wearing Raiders gear now, talking about maybe even buying into the Raiders too. Right? I mean, so I think that Tom Brady was a good thing for the Raiders in hindsight. I think a lot of us were really worried about it, and we hate him anyway because, the whole not a fumble thing, but fumble thing. Even though I put out a video where it's him and Seawood, and they're doing this, like, I don't know, like little podcast or something together. And Seawood gets him to admit that it was a fumble. He gets him to admit straight up it was a fumble. And it was hilarious. That video got a ton of views. It's all my shorts videos. Let's see. Matthew says, I've been working at Birmingham City Football Club today. You can really see that Brady is having an influence, spending good money. Is he involved with that? I didn't even know that. What do you do at the football club over there? Is that like English football, like soccer? I'm not super familiar with it. Ah, part owner. Okay. I mean, the dude's got a ton of money. He's got, and here's the other thing: he's got a ton of money, but he has investors behind him. So just like his deal with the Raiders, where he's a minority owner, right? But it wasn't all his money. He brought in one of his billionaire investor buddies to put up half of the money that he put up because he's not a billionaire. He's got a lot of money, but he's not a billionaire. So he actually needed one of his friends to come in who is a billionaire to help make that purchase. But that dude's just a raw investor. He doesn't know anything about football, doesn't care about football. Tom gave him a call and said, "Hey, we need a couple $100 million to put together a package to buy into the Las Vegas Raiders. Are you down?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, Tom. I got billions of dollars, no problem. But you just control my shares. Like you make the decisions for my shares." So Tom Brady's a 5% owner, but his money is actually only 2.5%. The other 2.5% was his billionaire investor buddy. But again, because that dude knows nothing about football, he just trusts Tom. He's just like, "Yeah, you vote for my shares. Whatever vote, whatever say needs to be said, you take care of it, Tom." LA Raider 11 says, "I'm wearing the Max Crosby shirt that I won on your channel as we speak." Nice, bro. Thanks again, you the man. I'll send video or pic soon. Awesome. Awesome. We've got more. We have more. And so we're gonna be giving some more shirts away during the season. So guys, hang out for that because that's gonna be really cool. If you don't know what he's talking about, let me grab one real quick. So this is what he's talking about. One of the shirts that he won. We gave a bunch away in Vegas too. So this is the Max Crosby Just Win Baby Black Rain official Raider D podcast special edition. So we got those. We got a bunch of them. We'll be giving away here pretty soon. So yeah. Oh, okay. So Burnett soccer. Yeah, soccer over here. We call it soccer, but I don't like. I like. What is it? Liverpool. I've watched a few of their games. I actually played soccer football a few years ago. I got into it for a while. It's a fantastic exercise. You just run nonstop the whole dang time. Like I played basketball too. The thing with basketball is, I mean, unless you're like at a professional level, with basketball, there's a lot of standing around. Especially like in my league, there, it's older guys. We're not 15, 16 out there running around like rabbits with their heads cut off. So it wasn't nearly as good of a cardio. But when I started playing European football, soccer, what we called over here soccer, oh my God, man, my cardio just went to a whole different level. I was playing right and left winger. I just ran nonstop for like an hour and a half. It was crazy. A lot of fun. I'm not good at it, but it was good uh good exercise for sure. Matthew says like a dog chasing a ball, dude. Yeah. Yeah, he's just nonstop. Um Brandon Ryan, were you able to go to the practice here? No, man, it sucked. So we had it all lined up, and then we had an emergency and we weren't able to do it. And so then we went down to Vegas last week and we had it all set up to where we were going to do a facility tour. We were going to do practice, get in there, and they changed the rules on it. So now, because my inside guy, he's able to get me into the VIPs, able to get me into games, he's able to get me into practices. They changed it up on him the day before and said that they weren't going to allow people without a press pass into the practices, and even the press pass they were restricting because it was, they're gearing up for the regular season. So they didn't want any distractions. They didn't want any leaks of what their playbook's going to be, anything like that. So it really sucked, man. It was such a bummer. We were down there, we were ready to go, and just couldn't get in. So we'll see what happens. He can still get me up into the VIP section for the games. So I'm gonna try and hit a home game this year, and then hopefully they'll make some type of a change, and they won't be so tight about it, and we can get back into the practice again. And we'll just have to see what happens, man. But yeah, I mean, it just everything was just kind of bad timing, because even Raider Ryan, you sent me those tickets, and then I had a family emergency I had to deal with, and so everything just went out the window. I didn't make no videos, nothing for like a week or so, and so we missed out. I wasn't even able to give them away, man. Fortunately, everything's okay, so guys, don't worry, everything's good. But so then yeah, we set it up to go interview some players and go to the practice and all that stuff. And then the Raiders said, nope, we've changed the rules. So, oh well, that's life, man. It happens. RNJ podcast. What's going on? Raider D, salute, bro. Nation, let's go. RNJ, man. That's awesome, bro. I'm gonna have to check out your podcast. I haven't never seen it before. You have obviously I'm assuming you have a YouTube channel. Darth Emperor says AI Atlas is coming. Are you talking about that comment or something? I don't know. Right around, as long as everything's good, man. Everything's good. Good as it can be. Bama says them tightening up probably was Brady called New England. We're known for that. Yeah. Yeah, it sucked, man. We had the whole trip planned out. Got down there, ready to go, and got the news. Wasn't gonna happen. But we'll keep grinding for you guys, man. Like I said, I have a really, really, really good connection with somebody in the Raiders organization, and he's pulling for us to be able to get access to players and get access to practices and stuff, so that we can bring more content to you guys. One of the biggest problems that we have with that is that they're still the old guard within the Raiders organization. And this is a problem that I ran into even last year, is that they have their set press guys that they know and love and trust. And anybody outside of that, it's like, screw you. We don't want you here. We don't care how many views you get on YouTube. We don't care how many subscribers you have. You're not a real journalist. We don't want you here. Unless you're with Sports Illustrated or the AP or even the Las Vegas Tribune or something, then you're not real. You don't really exist. And it kind of sucks, man, because at the end of the day, us podcasters for the Raiders, collectively, we do more for the Raiders than Sports Illustrated, ESPN, any of that. When you look at our combined views, I'm talking about even Mitchell Rentz. Talk about Mitchell Rentz. Talk about Samoan Raider. Talk about me. Talk about even Wi-Fi Willie, right? Who I don't really like, but he does do a lot of Raiders content. Every month, we're doing over 20 million views for the Raiders. Sports Illustrated is lucky to get 100,000 views a month regarding the Raiders. And so the fact that they kind of like don't give us out, like Samoan Raiders getting that respect now. He's at the stadium all the time and he's got some connections. So you do see him there. But even like you don't see Graphic Raider. It's hard even for me to get in there. Fortunately, I do have one guy who can get me in perceivably moving forward. But like I think that Mark Davis and Tom Brady, they should really get together and they should be like, listen, man, let's take the podcasters that have been doing this for at least a couple of years. They do it consistently. They're posting daily, high quality stuff. Let's do like, a gathering of all of them and bring them to the stadium. Let's bring them in and give them press passes. Because these dudes are and we're doing it for basically free. Sports Illustrated pays Hondo Carpenter's, mortgage, right? His kid's college career. Sports Illustrated pays him a good amount of money. Us podcasters, we don't make nothing. YouTube don't pay us garbage. We get pennies on the dollar. So the fact that we still continue to do this, regardless of the fact that we're not even making any real money out of it, should make the Raiders organization wake up to the fact that, hey, we should be the first football team to really embrace YouTube podcasters with our team that are putting in all of the effort. Like my boy, Protect the Shield, Chris. He's putting in work, man. Work. And he's struggling to grow his channel, but he just keeps grinding, putting out high quality content. And it's difficult. It's really, really difficult. When you put sometimes like I put maybe 2-3 hours into a video and it only gets 1,000 views. And then other times I'll do a quick video of some breaking news and it'll get 20,000 views. So you always have that up and down. You don't have the stability that you have with these big networks. I think that should be rewarded by the Raiders. And even if it's not me, if it's just everybody else, I wouldn't even care, right? So I think that eventually the Raiders are going to wake up to that. But like I said, I've run into issues when I interviewed Trey Taylor, right? Safety for the Raiders. He's now on the practice squad. But when we drafted him, I interviewed Trey Taylor, went through his agent, great dude, great interview. And I get a hateful email from the head of marketing from the Raiders. Like, what the hell? And the dude was seriously pissed that I did not get permission from the Raiders, from him specifically, to do that interview. And I'm like, listen, dude, I understand that that's your job. You're head of like marketing and not even marketing, head of was it PR, the PR department, public relations department. I get that's your job. And, maybe you're feeling a little insecure that somebody could go and get a player on their platform without going through you. But listen, I'm 100% willing to work with you. Like, I want to work with the Raiders. And I put forth a very high quality interview with this kid and made the Raiders look good, made him look good. In no way was I trying to do something stupid and make him look bad or the Raiders look bad. So this should show you my sincerity here. So instead of being against me, you should be bringing me into the fold and be like, yeah, let's get him some more players to interview. Instead, I got the exact opposite. This dude was like super hostile, like a little bitch, right? And that dude's still there. He is still there, which is why I've had a hard time getting players, because he's went and told their agents not to let them on my show. Now, I've had players that didn't care, like Chris Collier. He's like, I don't care. I'll come on your show. So it just kind of sucks, man. But hopefully Tom Brady's going to get that cleaned up, because I think the head of PR, I think because of his attitude, I don't think he should have his job. Matthew says, I fell asleep at work listening to Hondo. Hondo is hard to watch. I'm not going to lie. He is for a specific class of Raiders fans. I think the older generation like him a lot. I like him a lot. He does a pretty good job, but I have the same problem. I cannot sit there and watch him. Not for more than a few minutes. Like, Hondo, just tell me the information and let me move on. Darth Ember says, and he's happy about it. Happy about what? Oh, I must be. He only does a video when something negative happens. Who? Oh, Wi-Fi. I listen. Here's the thing about Wi-Fi Willie, and I don't want to talk a lot about Wi-Fi Willie because we've been through this. Me and him had our beef when he came into my live stream and started posting a bunch of stupid comments while he was drunk. I'm assuming he was drunk anyway because he was texting like he was drunk, and it really was him. It wasn't like a spoof thing. I traced it back. It really goes right back to his account, and I called him out on it. And then he hasn't responded. But here's the thing about Wi-Fi Willie. He understands how to get views. He's really good at telling a story and making it super dramatic. So I don't take that away from him. And for him, that is his only job. That's his only source of income. And I mean, now his girl is like blown up as a conservative white supremacist. Like people are saying she's a white supremacist. I don't know if she is, but she's blown up on YouTube. She went from no subscribers to almost 200,000 subscribers in like 6 months, and he's still not even at 100,000. So he's got to be hating that. But anyway, both of them are really good at just telling a story and keeping you entertained and whatever. So like, you know, with me, I don't think that he's a real Raiders fan because he wears Saints jerseys and, you know, he was rooting on for the Saints. I don't care. I love Derek Carr. I was a big Derek Carr fan. I still am. I think he's a great human being. Not as great at being a quarterback. He's not bad, but I wouldn't say he's a great quarterback. He was decent. But as a human being, he's rock solid. And so, but I would never root for the Saints. I don't care if Derek Carr, or I don't care if Brock Bowers went to the Saints, or if Ashton Genty went to the Saints, or any other team. I ain't rooting for him. I'm not doing it. I don't care. The only team I'll ever root for is the Raiders. I might talk about other teams, but I'm not gonna root for him. So that's where kind of my fallout with Wi-Fi Willie is. I just, when I seen him rooting for the Saints, I was like, I'm good. Raider Ryan says, I watch Hondo on 3x speed. You have to, because he's very slow. But he is a really good writer, though. I do enjoy reading his articles on Sports Illustrated. He's pretty good. Dirk, what's up, man? For me, Michael Rentz is the worst. He's very often drunk also. Look, I mean, go back and watch my interview with Mitchell Rentz on the channel. Like, I have my differences of opinion. I don't like the way he runs his show, so I don't watch it. Because for me, it's annoying. It's not my thing. It's more like what's it called? A college frat party, right? Not my thing. I'm almost 50 years old. It's beyond me. He's a younger guy. That's kind of his stick. That's what he does. And that's what his fans like. They like watching the drunk show. But you know what? I did get to know him a little bit, and he is a decent dude. I'm not gonna trash him as a human being. He is a decent dude. He does love the Raiders. I believe that now. I was suspect before, but I do believe he loves the Raiders. He loves the team. But even he himself said, like, the drunk stuff, it's all a part of the act. It's all a part of keeping people engaged and keeping them on the show. And, you know, he's getting ready to get married and everything. And once him and his girl have kids, he's like, you know, all that's going to go away because I don't want my kids seeing me like that. But for now, I'm just kind of enjoying the growth of the channel. And this is kind of just part of the act. It's kind of, we implemented it and it really took off. And he's like, but, you know, I'm not going to continue doing that for much longer. Now, that being said, I also don't believe Mitchell Rentz actually drinks alcohol the way that he claims to. Again, it's a part of the act. I think that alcohol that he's drinking is colored water, to be 100% honest with you, because you could not chug that much alcohol and still be coherent 3.5 hours later into a live stream of a football game. You're just not. I don't care how good you hold your liquor. You're not going to chug that much alcohol and not just be flat out drunk off of your butt. And he's not. If you watch him throughout the thing, his demeanor doesn't really change. So I'm suspect if he's even actually really drinking alcohol. He's drinking something, and he has to go take a piss a lot. So he's drinking a lot of something. Dirk says, when Wi-Fi gets drunk, I turn off. I don't know why anybody would want to watch somebody drunk. I don't drink. To me, alcohol is evil. I've seen the effects up close and personal to loved ones, of how it absolutely destroys people. So I won't be around anybody that's drunk. I won't be in a friendship, a relationship, nothing with somebody who drinks. I just won't. I won't do it. Dark says, it was a dark time thanks to McDummy. Raider Ryan says, F Chugs, can't stand him. Texans fan on a Raiders report. What a joke. Yeah, I don't know much about Chugs. I think he's because I was talking to Mitchell about it. When he first started the show, like, they didn't have any help. It was just him and I think his girlfriend and his roommate all living in like a 2-bedroom apartment. And they started it during COVID, so they couldn't go anywhere. So, the whole thing was pretty raw. And then Chat Sports got, I don't know, some investment or something, and they were able to afford technicians and producers and stuff. So I think that's what Chug is. I think Chugs is just a producer. He's a dude that's just really good at putting graphics up on the board and all that stuff. So even Mitchell said it's his life is a lot easier now because he just shows up to work and they already have stuff partially planned out for him. And then he's got the producer with Chugs and all that stuff. And it makes it a lot easier. Juwerub, I'm always worried about reading your comments, bro, because half of the time you're super negative. Raiders' future QB is Sellers, but Raiders will continue to tell you they don't need the best QB in the draft to win consistently. That's why they have been horrible for years. They win 8 games, stuck mediocre. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying the Raiders only winning 8 games this year. I'm just not. I mean, we're going to find out tomorrow, right? The proof is going to be in the pudding tomorrow. But I'm not buying that the Raiders are only going to win 8 games. I'm just not. Look, the Chiefs are done, bro. The dynasty of the Chiefs are done. They squeaked their way into the Super Bowl and then got manhandled by a real team. And listen, the Chargers put them on blast yesterday. Or Thursday. So I'm not buying it. I think that the Raiders, when you look at the talent that the Raiders have, with the coach that we have, with the offensive coordinator that we have, I think things are really going to change around fast. And listen, people say, oh, you can't go from being a terrible team to a playoff team the next year. Well, the Houston Texans did it. The Washington Commanders did it. And what did both of those have in common? New quarterback, new head coach, new offensive coordinator. What do the Raiders have? New quarterback, new offensive head coach, or new head coach and new offensive coordinator. Combine that with one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. Malcolm Kuntz could be a top-tier defensive end. We're going to have to wait and see how he pans out this year. Yeah, the best running back coming out of college in 20-plus years. You have the best tight end to come out of college in 50 years. Now in his year 2, broke all kinds of records, should have been rookie of the year last year. If it hadn't have been for Jaden Daniels being so spectacular, he would have been. You have Jacoby Myers who catches everything you throw at him. You have Dante Thornton Jr., who is, in my opinion, a Randy Moss 2.0. Now, will he be as good as Randy Moss? I don't know. But one thing I do know from everybody that's been around this kid, unlike Randy Moss, this dude's super hungry and he works his tail off. He doesn't take plays off. He's willing to block. Randy Moss never was. So he could actually be more of a valuable player than Randy Moss in Randy Moss's prime. Because again, this dude is 6'5" and runs a 4.3 40. And what most people were saying is, yeah, but he can only run in a straight line. He doesn't know how to run routes. No, that's because Tennessee limits their wide receivers to 3 routes in their route tree. But in high school, this dude was running all kinds of routes. So he gets to the Raiders in the offseason and he starts showing off that this dude has a full-blown route tree. And that's going to be something spectacular. Here's the other thing is Geno Smith is very accurate with the deep ball. So I think that the big playability that the Raiders have, barring a bunch of injuries, the big playability that the Raiders have with Thornton and Trey Tucker on the outside, Jacoby Myers in the slot, and Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty, I don't think that the Raiders go 8-8. I think that the Raiders have a positive record at the end of the year. I think the Raiders win at least 10 games this year and squeak into the playoffs as a wild card. I think at this point, we'll see how the Raiders gel and if they continue to get better throughout the season. If they get better throughout the season, the Raiders might win the division. Who knows? My man, Jimmy Mullen, what is going on? He is one of the founders and administrators of our awesomeness Facebook page called Silver and Black Nation. We are over 100,000 members over there. Link is down in the description of this live stream if you guys want to go and join. It's absolutely wonderful. We have the best administrators, the best mods. We keep all the scammers out. We're constantly booting out anybody that's just putting in nonsense to keep it real relatable Raiders content. So you guys got to come and check us out over there. My deal with Rents is he used the name Raiders Report when JT the Brick had that show for years ago. I know we've talked about this before. And I guess, when you look at it, listen, if JT wasn't using it anymore, I don't blame somebody else for picking it up. My real issue with him again is just like he has some good insights on stuff. He has some dumb insights. I have some good insights. I have some dumb insights. So I don't think anybody's perfect, but I don't have, like, I had some beef with him about something he said about Aiden O'Connell and the locker room, which could hurt the team. And I called him out on that. And that video blew up. And that then, he responded to me. It was like, hey, let's talk about this. So I brought him on the show and we talked about it. And turns out he's a pretty decent dude, man. And I got nothing against him. But we just have two different types of shows. I'm more 50-year-old on YouTube. That's more my style. I'm not going to do all the antics. But to each his own, man. Bama says, even if they can only run straight, that's all you need to blow the top off. True. I mean, you do want to have some moves because at the end of the day, the problem is if you have a speedster who can only run as, remember Rocket Ishmael, right? And James Jett. Those two dudes were speedsters. They were 4.3 guys. And unfortunately, really, they were really known for just running in a straight line. And if you just had a really slow DB, they'd beat them. Otherwise, it wasn't super effective. We even drafted, I forget his name. It was a terrible draft pick, but just because he ran a 4.3, the Raiders drafted him, but he was a terrible wide receiver. He never panned out for the Raiders. I forget his name now, but that was one of Al Davis's debacles at the end of his life. But you do want a wide receiver that can shimmy and shake that DB, make him feel like he's going on the inside and then break it back to the outside, then run in a straight line. So that way you can get the DB behind you, because if the DB knows you're just going to run in a straight line, they're just going to stay in front of you or on top of you, and it's going to make catching the ball a lot more difficult. The thing that I love about Thornton in what I've been able to see from him in preseason, as well as some of the practices, this dude's got a nice little inside cut, outside run that shakes those DBs, or at least makes them hesitate enough for him to swing by him, and then he can just unleash those super fast long legs of his and get down the field and get open. So I'm really excited to see. Darius Hayward Bay. Thanks, Darth Emperor. Ended up in Pittsburgh. Never really panned out for the Raiders. He was a drop machine. He would just drop the ball left, right, and center. Super fast, but just never really panned out for us. And then they sent him over to Pittsburgh. Hank, what's going on? Says Geno can move out of the pocket. Big difference. Not afraid to run. This is true. This is another advantage that the Raiders have, and why I think the Raiders are going to be better. Because, listen, one of the things about Geno Smith is he can get out of the pocket, and when he does, he's still very accurate on the run. So he can throw the ball. And that's why I do think that the Raiders are going to be able to win a lot more games. They're going to put up a lot more points. Matthew's got to go, man. Salute to Matthew Jameson all the way from Great Britain. Thank you so much for checking in, brother. Always a pleasure to see you in the chats, my man. Raiders! Yes, sir. Let's go. Speaking of that, Matthew's got to run. I got to run too, guys. It's been a fun hour. I got a video I got to record for a sponsor, so got to pay the bills. I will check with you guys. I'll make another video later, so make sure that you stick with that. And then I will check with you guys tomorrow for game day, where we're going to take on those pesky little Patriots and whoop they butts. Until then, you guys know how we end these live streams. Raiders just win, baby.